this is a very, very important question for Real Madrid fans out there. Is that do you think Real Madrid is good enough to win the league? I know historically, when I say historically, in recent history, in the last few years, you've won a lot of trophies. But even as big, as great as Real Madrid has been for a long time, especially in the Champions League, winning three Champions League back to back to back, their greatest squad of players, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, Benzema, Gareth Bale, Carvajal, named Xabi Alonso, these guys, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, they never really dominated in the league, right? They were not consistent enough. They were not typically the best team in the league. That position or that status is reserved for Barcelona. Now, for this current squad, they have some very obvious holes in the sense that when you watch the game today, the main problem that keep coming up to my mind is balance, right? The balance of the team is off. There's so much overcompensation for some star players. And these are incredible players. And this is no slight on Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and the likes. Vini is right and bang on form. He's playing his best football this season at this point in time. I think he's got like 5 goals in the last 4 games. Incredible. One of the best left wingers in the world. I'm an Arsenal fan. If you give me Vinicius Jr. right now, I sell on my right and left wingers immediately. He's that good of a player. He's a game changer, especially when he's in the right mood and he's in the right form. But Kylian Mbappe, possibly the top three best player in the world in the last few years, is a problem. And it's a problem in the sense that this is a player that has been predominantly played as a center forward in Real Madrid. And he's not a center forward, right? He's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. He's a player that scores goals, but he's not a center forward. And the system that Madrid are trying to conjure together, every single coach that has been there, right? Ancelotti got sacked because he couldn't fine-tune the system with Kylian Mbappe, right? They couldn't get it right. Then comes in Xabi Alonso. He heavily favored Mbappe. You can see every single thing Madrid does is accentuated or is made towards getting the very best out of Kylian. He's got a shit ton of goals. I think he's got 50 goals last season. And this season, he might also score another 50 goals. But when it comes to center forward play, when it comes to holding up the ball, bringing people into play, knowing when to drop deep, knowing when to go high, knowing when to get into the box so that you drag defenders into the box, Mbappe is found wanting. And this is not a slight on Mbappe. I repeat, this is not a slight on Mbappe. This is just who he is as a player. The best football Mbappe played, especially from a balanced standpoint that I've seen so far in his entire career, when he played with Olivier Giroud in the French national team because he played off somebody. Right. Maybe Madrid next season needs to get in somebody to compensate what Kylian can do. Right. A difficult choice would have to be made regarding this. But on today's game, there's so many red flags in the game in the sense that there was some in the first 30 minutes of the game, Adagula couldn't get into the game. Like the Osasuna players or the coach and the tactical plan that they had for the game kept Adagula away from the game, from the right areas, picking up the right passes and everything. The goal Madrid scored was just Valverde just forcing the play. You know, I'm a midfielder. I'm gonna just take the ball, run, and just cross into the box. And even when it crossed, you can see so many times in that game, Vini telling Mbappe, "You need to be there. You need to be. You keep coming. You keep getting attracted to the play. You want to touch the ball." Fine, you want to touch the ball, but when you do that, it's easier for defenders to defend, right? Because all the play is in front of them. They can see everything. They can see you, right? You would have to dribble two, three players to get a goal in those kind of situations because you're right in front of them. They can see you, right? You're not dragging them away from Vinicius. Vinicius was really wonderful in the first half. Every single take on, it was really good. He was beating his man, getting the pass, but every time he raises his head up, there's nobody in the box, right? Because Kylian is usually pulling back towards the edge of the box 18 or right around in the middle of the penalty spot, right? Which is usually crowded. It's difficult. It's like needle in a haystack, right? You try to pick out the most perfect pass. The goal that Real Madrid scored to equalize in the game wasn't a perfect pass. Valverde ran to the byline, flashed the ball across the box. There's two players in the box. One was Kylian, who was already late because he didn't read the play correctly. And the next was Vinicius. He read the play, he got ahead of his man, and he scored, right? And 99% of the time, he's not in that position because he's typically on the left wing, dominating the game, bringing people into the game, trying to get the ball into the box, and stuff like that. This is not a slight on Kylian. This is about the coach finding the balance. Now, the question that I'll pose to Madrid fans is, do you think that the coaches at Real Madrid right now have the right tools to get the best out of the squad? They might have great players, right? Vini, Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, all these attackers, they're good players. Hendrick wasn't the right profile to complement what is needed. That's why I think he didn't play. There's a reason Frank Garcia is now being chosen over Hendrick because he offers a little bit of physicality, good order play, but he doesn't have the name. He can't break into the team, obviously. I think Fragasa should be playing by now, should be playing consistently because typically Madrid tends to play well with him in the team. But the problem is, how do you solve for having Mbappe in the team that scores 50 goals every season? That's a lot of goals. And that's a lot of goals to put on the bench. Another very important situation that I observed was Dani Carvajal. Dani Carvajal struggled a lot with very fundamental things like when to press, like when to make sure your man is right in front of you, or what. Like it was just very simple things. But he struggled the entirety of the first half. Trent came in and it was a little bit better. He created a chance immediately he came on. But we know Trent is never really a great defender. So Madrid also need to find consistency in their backline. They have to due to numerous injuries that has plagued them the last few years. They've had a lot of injuries to that backline. Whereby you have Alaba, one of the highest paid players, one of the highest paid defenders in the world. He barely played. He had a fantastic game today, right? Especially defensively, but it wasn't still good enough. I'm not a fan of Asensio. I think is error prone. He's too error prone to play for an elite team. He needs to be a player that is a backup. But I think he's a backup. The problem now is Eder Militao and Rudiger and players like Alaba are consistently injured. If Madrid wins this league over Barcelona, I think they've overachieved. I don't think they're as good as Barcelona. Not just that, not just because they don't have players. They have players that are as good as any player Barcelona have. The issue is they don't have the balance. They don't have the right players in the right time to fit their system. They don't have a number six that controls or dictates the game. That's why players like Adagula needs to drop deep so much because Trameni can't do the job alone. It's like he made like 5 to 10 different passes just so an Osasuna player throughout the game. It's weird. He's a player that hasn't developed correctly, and the shoes of Modric and Antonio Cruz is too big for him to fill. Maybe Madrid should have gone for Zubimendi at the beginning of the season. I'm going to leave it here. If Madrid wins the league, I think either something has gone a lot wrong for Barcelona, and I'm sure Madrid fans would like to hear this, or suddenly they just find the balance to end the season. And they're missing Bellingham, a player that might give them that physicality. If you're playing Bellingham as like a free role in the midfield, but the reason why you can't play Bellingham as a free role in the midfield is because Mbappe and Vinicius don't do enough defensive work. So it's a lot of problems for a coach to solve. The coaches are doing their best, but I don't think they have all the right tools to build a system that can give you consistent performance throughout a 38 game season to win the league, especially when you're competing against Barcelona. Well, I'm gonna leave it here. If like I would like Madrid fans, other football fans, especially people who watch La Liga a lot, to comment in the comment section if you understand exactly where I'm coming from. If you disagree, it's fine. Leave your comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the content. Thank you guys. Bye.